Okay children, so today we are again going to continue our chapter, and last time we were discussing about some of the microorganisms. We were discussing about their types, so how many microorganisms are there, and we were seeing some of its friendly natures, like some of its usefulness of microorganisms. So today we will be discussing more about that. Now the topic we are going to start today is nitrogen fixation and soil fertility. So nitrogen is present uh, in abundance in the atmosphere, like our atmosphere, in our atmosphere almost 78 percentage of nitrogens are present, and these nitrogens are very useful for plants because it will provide them some proteins which help them for growth and development. But the only problem is that the 78% nitrogen present is in the form of air, so plants are not able to take the nitrogen directly from air, so they need to be some process which needs to be done. So there are some of the plants like legumes, clover and peanut. So these are some group of plants. They have a unique property within them. So in their root nodules, like in their root, they have some round structure like substance in which there is a bacteria. So the name of the bacteria is rhizobium. Now what does that bacteria does? It is able to fix the nitrogen directly from atmosphere. So it is able to take the nitrogen directly from the atmosphere and convert them into nitrates, which are useful for this plant. So once these nitrates are taken by the plants, it helps these plants to grow. And again, when this when after some seasons and all, these plants are taken out and again new plants are kept. So while these plants are taken out, all the nitrogen compounds present in the root nodules of those plants, those are mixing with the soil, and that's how soil is able to get nitrogen. So these bacteria are also known as a nitrogen fixing bacteria because they are able to take the nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, rhizobium bacteria. So the root looks somewhat like this, as you can see in the diagram, somewhat like this. So it has been shown in the diagram. So it has been shown in the diagram how the roots look like. Then we are going to study about nitrogen cycle. Now in this nitrogen cycle, I'm going to show you through this diagram. Nitrogen cycle, it's very important to us because with this nitrogen cycle we will be knowing how nitrogen is obtained from air to plants. Okay, first what happens, these leguminous plants, the bacteria out here, they are able to take nitrogen directly from the atmosphere, and they are converting them into various nitrates which are required by the plants. Then these plants, they absorb those nitrates, and that's how they are able to grow, and they are getting some various important proteins. Now once these plants are eaten by these animals, those nitrogen are passed to the animals, and these animals, what will happen, whenever they are dying, they get buried into the soil. So again, those nitrogen which are present in the animal, those are obtained by this soil. Now there are certain bacteria out there like these bacteria. These are known as denitrifying bacteria. Now what they do, they are able to convert those nitrogens which they obtain from dead remaining of plants and animal, like both plants and animal, they die, they get uh, denitrified, like I mean they get decayed in the soil. So that's how the soil obtain the nitrogen. So this denitrifying bacteria, what they do, they take those nitrogen and they'll convert them into gas, and again that's how the amount of gas is made constant, amount of nitrogen gas is obtained in the air. So you see there is a cycle out here, the nitrogen gas goes here and again it gets dissolved in the soil, and later on by denitrifying the bacteria, it is again converted to nitrogen gas. So this complete cycle is known as your nitrogen cycle. Now helping the environment, now we will see how the microorganisms present around us, they help the environment. So your microorganisms are also known as your nature's scavenger. The reason behind that is because these microorganisms, they help in decaying of dead plants and animals. So because of this decaying process, they are also known as nature's scavenger. Why? Because like this, some bacteria, they are saprophytic in nature, so they feed on those dead remaining of plants and animals, and because of that, slowly those dead remaining of plants and animal, they get decomposed, and that's how dead organisms are removed from the area. So that's why they are known as nature's scavenger. So this bacteria, they break up those dead remainings of plants and animals, and those dead remaining, they gets dissolved in the soil, and the soil also, it is able to get, like the process out here, the soil is getting, there the soil is getting the required substance, and it's because of this process the soil becomes enriched. Now, during this process, not only that, whenever these microorganisms, they are decomposing the dead remaining of plants and animals, they are also releasing some carbon dioxide, which is required by the plants itself. So they are also maintaining a constant level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this carbon dioxide, what will happen, plants will require this carbon dioxide itself, so that they can continue their process of photosynthesis. So this is how these microorganisms, they help the environment. So there's an experiment out here, so I think you can go through it and see what it's here, but I think this experiment look really